be going over the Schumann Resonance in this video. Starting for August 19th to the 21st, it will be spiritually interpreted and explained by me for our channel. I do not claim to be a scientist, but this is just spiritually explained from my perspective. So do not quote me on anything scientifically, okay? Okay, let's get started. So a couple of things we want to go over before we pull up the graph. There are some things we need to understand about what is being shown in this presentation or in the graphs that they are posted through. I'll link the websites from where I get these from, so you can also look at these in real time on your own time, because I am obviously not here to guide you through every single little moment that is going on, but I will try my hardest to bring to you the information and interpret it with you. So Mother Earth's natural heartbeat is what it's known as, other than the Schumann Resonance. And with the frequency that it resides in, the natural state of being for Mother Earth's natural heartbeat is 7.83 hertz. And a little reference point that we want to kind of compare where our natural state of being with Earth's natural state of being compares to all the radio frequency electromagnetic radiations that we experience on a day-to-day basis. What this means, the power cells, phones, TVs, radios, microwaves, etc. These all range from 30,000 hertz to 300 billion hertz. So just compare the 7.83 hertz that the natural frequency of the earth is compared to what we put ourselves through on this planet, on the surface of this planet, with all the other frequencies we have surrounding us. So just keep that in mind while we're going through this, as well as just on a day-to-day basis, and try to understand where all these frequencies are kind of allowing your own frequency to be altered or affected by all of the frequencies around us. And also, there are very few resources to help us understand these frequencies that are shown in the Schumann Resonance graphs. It is being studied, but it is still very unknown. The way to explain how these frequencies are measured, it's the plasma waves that are constantly circling the Earth in the ionosphere, and it gets very technical as far as scientifically how the Earth receives these messages. But you want to kind of take a look at this picture here in the middle and use this as a reference point, kind of those globes that we see in the science rooms, or when we go to like the planetarium. It's those globes that you put your hand on, and it has the electricity that when you touch the surface of the globes, you are the conductor. You are it's the electromagnetic frequencies are reaching out to that new conductor. And when the sun has flares and it reaches out to Earth, and it influences the frequencies, is what I'm trying to say. So just kind of think of that plasma globe that we've all seen, and we touch it and you just see all these lights just coming towards you. That's basically what's happening with Earth and the frequencies when we experience all these graphs and all these changes within ourselves and on planet Earth. It's a lot of energetic feelings, energetic spikes that the Earth feels, and in return we may be able to feel those as well, and they may affect us day to day. So that's just a little background on what we are going to be looking over through these graphs. So this first slide here is for the 19th of August, and you can see here at the beginning of the early morning, this is around 4 a.m. into 8 o'clock in the morning. During those hours, there was some spikes here in energy. The white light is the coding information that you're receiving spiritually from your higher self or just from higher realms. The red is the resistance, it's the blockages. And around that is the green, the slow moving, stuck energy. And behind the green is the blue, which is that the natural state, calmness, equilibrium. It's just trying to align and flow. And it's also a kind of a sign of joy that we may be experiencing. So on top of all these layers that we just went through, you can see that during those 4 hours in the morning, you may have even, if you think about it, on the 19th, did you wake up during these times? Did you wake up early and it was just a sudden energy? Maybe not as in like, I'm ready to go, but as in just not being able to go back to sleep. You just woke up because you received this weird energy. And it looks like after 8 o'clock, we had just kind of that stuck energy of the green here kind of flowing through and into the evening, early evening, around, what is this, 1400 hours till this 19-20 hour mark. There was this big white light, this resistance around it as well, but it wasn't as much as it was during the morning, the early morning. There wasn't as many blockages. As that might just be your body not willing to wake up is what I'm saying it as. But during the evening you were already awake, but you just didn't have as many blockages mentally or spiritually trying to connect to those light codes that were sent to you early in the day. And if you kind of look at it, it's just magnified even bigger. So this small area here just magnified during the evening. Looks similar in shape. And we just kind of want to acknowledge that there was some type of ascension here, some type of energy, whether it's perceived as positive or negative. That is completely up to your human experience on that day, but you received all this energy on those time marks. And then we're going to go over to the 20th of August. And the same thing here. You might have woken up early on Friday morning, the 20th of August, because you had some blockages here. So you may have had a little bit of information seeping through, but you may have not woken up completely. And then if you look at the 11-hour mark throughout the 20-hour mark, there are these white long ascension lines here. And it looks like whatever coding you received on the 19th, it was much deeper on the 20th. It was trying to activate that energy within your body and your spirit and aligning them. And like I said, that white light is it's clarity. It's seen as clarity and activation, energized peak. And with the red that's surrounding it, like we talked about earlier, it's those blockages. So you need to understand that you yourself, your body might just be not willing to let go of something. So throughout this entire week, we received all this resistance to the new information that we were given from the higher realms. And it may just mean that there's a change that you're not willing to allow. And during this morning, I kind of want to correlate this to something I experienced myself. I was on an early walk this morning, and it was it was kind of windy. It was a breezy, and I I look at all the trees around me being pushed by the wind, by the breeze, and just think of yourself standing there and the breeze or the wind pushing against you. And it's pushing hard enough, but not hard enough to push you over. But you're creating that resistance. And the resistance is something you actually need to allow to not push you over, but to allow it to move through you. There's something that needs to change. There's something that is no longer in your purpose. It's not aligned with your purpose. It doesn't mean that you need to completely forget about it. No, you need to take the lessons that are learned from it. And it doesn't have to be bad. It could just be an experience. It could just be something small. But it could just mean a lot of information you got from the experience, kind of like these white ascension lines here. And just as those trees or the grass that's being blown over, just allow what needs to pass through. Don't push back. You think of it as a rubber band that you're just pulling back, and the more you allow it for you to pull back or to resist, the harder the hit at the end of it, because it eventually will come through whether you like it or not. That's just the way the things are. The more you allow for that rubber band to keep pulling back and gain more distance, when it actually comes through and fulfills full circle, it will hurt a lot more than just allowing it to breeze through you. So just kind of keep that in mind. The last slide we're going to go over is the 21st. So August the 21st, which is a Saturday. And right here you can see there's actually no white at all in this from the beginning of the day until the late evening. There's a lot of blue, which is that calming and that joy and just living life type of situation, that feeling that we were just talking about. And the green, which is the slow moving stuck energy. So there's still some type of resistance with a little red is in here as well. But you, at this point, you may already just be saying, hey, I've got to let this go. It's not that it's not worth it, but it's something you got to live and learn through. And whatever situation you're going through, it'll bring you happiness. It'll bring you something more, something that you want to move towards too. But just take what comes with what we went over on this graph, and just always remember that you are living you're going through a human experience. And when you don't know what's coming, yes, we're all scared. We all want to be able to control something, and be in that idea that we have the control on what happens in the future. You can control certain aspects, but at the end of the day, you can't control the complete outcome. You can control how you react in the journey to get there. So just enjoy the experience. The least resistance is the most fun. It's the most, to me, it seems a little bit more freeing, just to allow the things that need to happen. And with that, don't forget to follow us for more videos like this, and also follow us on our Instagram and our TikTok. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and we will see you next week for the update. See you then.